Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm with you MD Shajadur Ahmed and we'll welcome you all to the first lab session of Python programming. Today we're going to discuss about some very interesting virtual platform where we can do Python coding. As we all know, there are a lot of virtual platform for Python coding out there. But our main focus is to discuss about two of the fantastic virtual platform where we can run Python code or we can save, edit Python code with efficiency. So those two platform is actually known as Jupyter Notebook and another one is known as Google Colab. So some of you are already familiar with those two platforms, but those who not is actually can follow this tutorial. So let us begin. So let us first discuss about Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook is a web application that allows you to run live code, embed visualization and explanatory text all in one place. So you can actually add code, add some images, some videos, some audios and also some text which is actually known as text cell in one place. Running any code is much easier in Jupyter Notebook than in any IDE. So there are a lot of IDE as we all know, but in Jupyter Notebook we can run our Python code very easily and with a efficient way, because IDE only provides us the output of the code that we run. So as we all know that IDE just provide the outputs, nothing else. It cannot provide any images and it cannot provide any visualization or something else, whereas Jupyter Notebook provides image, visualization, text cells and much more besides providing output. So Jupyter Notebook as well as provide output, at the same time it will also provide in the middle of the code the images, the visualizations and much more things all together in one place. So it can be easily understood by an image. Let us see an image. So from this image you can see here is a IDE of Python and here you can see the Jupyter Notebook. So where we have written same code in IDE and same code in Jupyter Notebook, but you can see the Python IDE only provides us the output. As we all know, we can just expect the outputs whatever code we write, but Jupyter Notebooks provides the output and the visualization of the output as well. You can see that it is also providing the tables frequently. So it is actually providing the visualization or the output visualization in the middle of the code. This is what actually the advantage of Jupyter Notebook, that provides us the frequent output inside the coding part, or we can also edit wherever we wanted to add actually. So that's why actually every developer move code or move their project to Jupyter Notebook. So I hope you guys understand the importance of using Jupyter Notebook in place of any IDE. So now let's move on to the next interesting virtual platform, and which is actually a output of Google Research Lab. So it is called as Google Colab. The full form is Colaboratory. So Colaboratory or Colab for short is a Google cloud-based service and a product from Google Research. Colab allow you to write and execute Python code through your browser. So you can write your Python code inside your browser and is especially well suited to machine learning, data analysis and education. So actually it is very suited with machine learning, data analysis and education. More technically, Colab is hosted Jupyter Notebook service that requires no setup to use. So as we are actually trying to discuss about two virtual platform, but if we cover Google Colab, then we are actually going to cover both of them, because Jupyter Notebook is actually embedded inside the Google Colab. So that's why actually we discuss about Jupyter Notebook first and then Google Colab. as Jupyter Notebook is actually embedded, so our main concern now is only Google Colab. So while providing free access to computing resources including GPU, so it also provides some access of computing resources like RAM, like processor, PU, TPU, and so much. So now precisely let us know the features of Colab so that we can understand how beneficial and how advantages are available in Google Colab, so that we can move from any offline ID to online Colab. So as we said, that embedded Jupyter Notebook added with lot of bonus features. So Jupyter Notebook is also there, and additionally there are a lot of features also there. Hosted in Google Cloud environment, so it is actually hosted in Google Cloud environment as it is a product of Google. Not require any kind of installation because it is actually hosted by Google, so you don't need to install anything. The network speed is very much fast because it is actually hosted by Google, and we all know that Google is very faithful, and we actually trust Google, so that we can say that the network speed is very fast, so that we can run our code in a very fast manner. Can write Python code directly inside the browser, so you just need a browser, nothing else. You don't need any version of Python, you don't need to install any IDE, you just directly move on to the browser and do your Python coding. Notebook file will automatically stored inside the Google Drive. All those code will automatically stored in that file. So it is the bigger advantage of Google Colab. So you don't need to worry about losing your code or your or any time you can edit any of your code by opening them from your Google Drive. So many of the data science library are already installed inside this Google Colab. So many of the science library to work with many research things like in machine learning or deep learning, the science library is already installed there. You just need to pick the actual library. It gives the support of CPU, GPU, and TPU. So as we said, it also gives support of computer resources. GPU and TPU are in addition with some research things. It helps with in deep learning, and the last things is the most important things, that you can do coding using your cell phone also. So when you are using Colab, you can do your Python coding also in your cell phone. So we'll actually going to see that. So it is I think in my perspective it is the most important part, because in coding, whatever code we are dealing with, we need any IDE, and IDE is very rare to found in mobile version, as we all know. It can be iOS or it can be Android, but it is very difficult to found. But when we are using Colab, so we can easily do it in our browser. So as we all know that Google Chrome is also available in our Android phone or iOS phone, so you can also do coding, Python coding inside your cell phone as well. So it is, in my perspective, as I said, it is the bigger advantage of Colab. Okay, so let us now see the visual of all these features, so that we can understand visually as well. But as it is actually hosted by Google, as we all know that we need a account, Google account, and we all have at least one Google account. As a students, we also have a edu account, which is actually considered as a Google account. So we can use that account also to open to just move there and do coding in Colab. So let's move on to the visual part. So as you can see, I am already in my browser and already logged into one of my Google accounts, so that I can easily logged into Google Colab. So I have opened my Google Drive, so that I can easily show how to use Colab from your Google Drive. So you can also access Google Colab from your Google Drive as well. So I am going to show that to you. But first of all, let us open the Colab in our browser. So to open Colab, so just write down colab.research.google.com. I have already accessed that, so that it is actually open automatically. So when we move on to this address, you can see the first page or home page of Google Colab or Collaboratory. So it's look like this. So first filter is actually showing you the welcome message. For now, just click on cancel. So here we are, and we can see that as I am logged in into one of my Gmail account, Google account, so it is automatically, I have automatically logged in into Colab as well. So you can start with reading some of the instruction. So now, as you wanted to start your coding, you just need to add a new notebook. So click on new notebook. A new notebook will be opened. So as we already said that in Google Colab, the Jupyter Notebook is actually embedded. So as in Jupyter Notebook, you can add visualization, images and text cells. So here you can add text cells, you can add visualization and images and videos as well. So here we are, our first Jupyter Notebook is open. So you can see the extension because it is a Jupyter Notebook. So that's why IPYNB. Now let's start. First of all, let's say we want to use a text cell because this was our first program. Or you can start coding from here. So as we all know, that our first code should be hello world. So let's say print, then inside the quotation, hello world. Okay, so as we have completed with writing our first lines of Python code, we just need to hit the run button. And when we first hit the run button, you can see it start connecting to the Google hosting environment for the first time only, and it will connect to connect and allocate a dedicated space under the cloud environment for you. You can see that RAM and disk is already allocated for you, and also you can see the output is provided. So see how easy it is and how faster than using any IDE. So as we said, you can also add some text, some images here. So let's say we want to add text. So this is our text. We want to say this is my first Python code on Colab. Run. So you can see we have already successfully added a cell text. You can also move this cell text to upper and lower side. As you can see from here, you can see that this is my first Python code on Colab, and this one our output. So as it is, you have already allocated the resources. You can write your another code now. Just add another line, and now let's say x equal to 5 and y equal to 4, and then we say sum equal to x plus y, and then we say print sum. So just now hit run. You can say how much faster it is now. It just take a simple time for the first time run only, but after that, when it is done allocating your space in the Google Cloud, it will start running very frequently. So that much fun we actually going to get when we are going to do Python coding in Google Colab. So this is the first interesting part, and now let's move on to the second interesting part, which is as we said that we can also start Colab from our Google Drive, and as we said that we actually have our files saved in our Google Drive. So for that, let's say give a name. So we just say name and hit enter, and now let's move on to our Google Drive. You can see that a folder is automatically created in my Google Drive as name as Colab Notebook, and we can find out all the practices, all the code we have run inside the Google Cloud Colab environment. So just click onto it, and you can see your code from here. And the most interesting thing that you can also open Colab from your Google Drive as well. So let's say this one is your Jupyter Notebook, and just now click on open with Colab. So you see it will automatically move on to Colab and will open your file into Colab. So we are actually going to get some fun while we are actually doing coding. So one more thing, you can add the application add-ons in your Google Drive. So for that you just click on to new and then more, and from here connect to more application, and it will move on to the Google application market. When it will launch, just search for Colab. Here it is. So just search for Colab, and I have already installed it, so just install it so that you can easily can found from here. So you can see that Google Collaboratory is already there. Also you can add Colab in this frame as well, so that you can easily start. So there are a lot of ways from where you can start Colab very easily. So now let us move on to the mobile side and to show how it works in our mobile browser. You can see I am in my cell phone now, and I am having an Android phone, and I am going to show you how to use Colab from our cell phone. For that we just need to hit on to Google Chrome. So click on Google Chrome and search for Colab, and then hit enter. We have moved on to the Colab interface, the Colab Google site. So we are having same interface in our cell phone as well, but to have a better view we can move on to the desktop site. For that just click on to the desktop site, and it will become same, it will show us the same interface as we have seen in our desktop version. And now from here just add a new file. So hit on new notebook, it will open a new notebook. As see, it's appear. So similar thing, just now do your first Python coding, print. Okay, so because this one is for the first time, so when we hit run it will take some time, it will allocate some memory space for us, and when it done with allocating some space, you can see the RAM and disk, then it will give us the output. So see how much easier to do Python coding in our cell phone as well. So why are we waiting for? Just move on to your browser and start Python coding. So that's all from this tutorial. Hope to see you in next tutorial. Till then everyone stay safe, stay home. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.